वा कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री प्रभु नित्यानंद गदाधर शिवासदि गौर वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे बोलो कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। श्री राधा राधानाथ की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. You know, so today we'll read from Srila Prabhupada lilamrta. Srila Prabhupada would receive several letters a week from the devotees in London. It was now December 1968. The devotees had been in London for a month. The chapter is Unlimited Opportunity, Limited Time. So the devotees had been in London for a month and still they had no temple, nor even a place where they could live and worship together. Mostly they had been visiting Hindu families, holding kirtan and sharing prasadam. Srila Prabhupada had encouraged this, but after hearing a few reports, he decided the program was stagnant. The devotees should not expect much from the Hindus, he said. They have become hodgepodge due to so many years of subjugation by foreigners and have lost their own culture. I am concerned to preach this gospel amongst the Europeans and Americans. Yeah, as Bhagavad Gita says, Vyavasatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana. So, bahushakha yanantascha. So, bahushakha means many branched. So, this is a difficulty born in a Hindu family we get. We are many branched. And Prabhupada was very concerned that he find devotees who are not mixed up, people who are not mixed up and who can take to this Krishna consciousness wholeheartedly when devote their life for Krishna, Radha Krishna. So that's why he was very concerned that the disciples who went to London, it's nice, we appreciate very much the help we get from Hindus, Hindu community, or everywhere we go. We get a lot of help from them, and some do become devotees, very good devotees. But Prabhupada is saying here, I am concerned to preach the gospel amongst the Europeans and Americans and all over the world. Yeah. Because he wanted the world to understand, as Bhagavad Gita quotes, unflinching, unalloyed, unmotivated devotional service, pure devotional service, as Bhakti Rasamrita explained. because that was what we were lacking, all of us in the world. Even though we are born in Hindu families, we were very pious, but we do all the Tihars. And Krishna consciousness was just a part of the whole year Tihar. But Srila Prabhupada wanted people in the world, whether born in Hindu family or non-Hindu, to become very sincere devotees of Krishna, of Srimati Radharani, through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. The devotees were jolted, but they knew Prabhupada was right. Determined to change their tactics, they immediately began lecturing at colleges and universities and chanting in the streets. They were preaching to the British, and it felt right. When they wrote to Prabhupada, and although they had accomplished little, they were planting seeds, Prabhupada replied, "Regarding your analogy of sowing Krishna consciousness seeds, I may inform you that there is a Bengali proverb, Sabure meoya phale." This means that fruits like chestnuts and pomegranates and similar other valuable fruits and nuts take some time to be fructified. So any good thing comes into our possession after hard struggle and endeavor. So Krishna consciousness is the greatest of all good fruits. We must therefore have necessary endurance and enthusiasm to get the result. We shall never be disappointed when things are presented in reversed order. Anyway, your honest labor is now coming to be fructified. Always depend upon Krishna and go on working with enthusiasm, patience and conviction. As we are doing the classes of nectar instruction here, it says Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairyat. These are the qualities of a devotee that acquires to grow and progress in his Krishna consciousness, who are favorable for his Krishna consciousness. We continue. Through the spring and summer of 1969, Prabhupada continued touring his American ISKCON centers. From Los Angeles, he had sent Gaurasundar and Govinda Dasi, a young married couple, to Hawaii, and on their invitation that he come during the mango season, he joined them. But when he got there in March, he found that it was not mango season and that his disciples had accomplished little. They had taken jobs and were working full-time just to support themselves. So when Prabhupada started to establish this Krishna consciousness in the Western country, devotees, they did all kinds of things to support the temples financially and come and do service. Like some of them has taken work full time. So New York City, April 9, 1969. So these were the years when this Krishna consciousness was booming with a super Shakti of Srila Prabhupada and his pure devotion. And everywhere the young people in America, they were getting very, very enthusiastic and very, very inspired to do many things that sometimes it seems to be very much impossible, but they could do it through Prabhupada's guidance, instructions, his divine shelter, his loving care. So this is what we must put a lot of emphasis on in our temples, that we get this kind of energy to start our day and to grow and to become very happy. Otherwise, we'll go in the city, in the towns, and we jump and down, up and down. We show people how we are happy. But if you come to temple, if you're not happy, then it is not good. So we have to emanate this energy where we have understood Krishna consciousness, and we are living a very good and exemplary life of a devotee. Then we go and share this. So that was a Krishna consciousness when it started in the 60s, late 60s. So we are in New York City. Although the center was established and his books were being distributed, he still had to visit this to strengthen the devotees. His presence gave them determination and courage. For 7 months they had carried on without his personal touch, but his visits, this book written, Prabhupada is coming. So his visits, when he would sit in his room and reciprocate warmly with them, were vital. Nothing could equal these intimate meetings. Yes. So this is what Prabhupada, he played such a very important part in inculcating and bringing out this devotion, pure devotion, in people, whoever he went, wherever he met devotees, people. He could churn and purify them and burn all the contamination and give them a chance to practice Krishna consciousness with lots of love. Many devotees, new and old, crowded into Prabhupada's apartment at 26 2nd Avenue. There was one reporter from the Honolulu Advertiser. Prabhupada said he was putting questions to me, and then he wrote an article. The Swami is a small man. He's not small, Prabhupada. He's short. He was not tall, big. So, the Swami is a small man, but he is delivering a great message that is true. I am small, but the message that is not small. The message that Prabhupada is delivering is huge, big, and it is resounding all over. Brahmananda showed Prabhupada a globe with markers representing ISKCON centers. Now there is one in North Carolina, Brahmananda said. Then it becomes 15. Prabhupada asked, he was smiling and looking directly from one devotee to another. I want each of you to go and start a center. Yeah, this is what Prabhupada wanted his followers, disciples to do. What is a difficulty? Take one Midranga, then another person will come and join you. He will take karatals. When I came here, Brahmananda and Achyutananda were dancing. After chanting, hundreds of men will come to your storefront and enjoy chanting and dancing. The girls also, Rukmini asked. There is no harm, Prabhupada said. Krishna does not make distinction. Female dress or male dress. I mean to say the female body is weaker, but spiritually the body does not matter. In the absence of Lord Nityananda, his wife Jahnavi was preaching. First, you must understand the philosophy. You must be prepared to answer questions. Krishna will give you intelligence. Just like I was not prepared to answer questions, to answer all these questions, but Krishna gives intelligence. After 8 days in his New York City home, Prabhupada went to Buffalo at State University of New York at Buffalo, Rupanuga was teaching an accredited course in Krishna Yoga with some 60 students enrolled regularly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra on beads. Prabhupada stayed for a few days lecturing and initiating disciples. Then he went to Boston for more initiations and several marriages. So that was the mood of devotees those days. They were very revolutionary, following Prabhupada's footsteps. They were going around opening centers, and that was 60s, late 60s and early 70s. It was going on like that. And when Prabhupada, he departed from this planet, many devotees were saddened, crying. But after that, they continued this Vani of Srila Prabhupada, instructions, and they went on. Even this temple, when I was here in 1987 and 88, whew, it was like an empire here. Many devotees, many Prabhupada disciples. That time, Prata Maharaj was young. He was doing his campaign everywhere. Every day there was devotees taking the prasadam and preparing to go out with books, with Harinam. And they were going out. Many devotees were here. Many brahmacharis, many matajis also. Those days they were selling a lot of paintings, and they were going out. Very well organized, very powerful energy was emanating from this temple that time, and every day was like that. And one of the very inspiring and enthusiastic program was a campaign program that was going. Plus it was, when there was Harinam those days in the city, there was 150, 200 devotees, sometimes 100 devotees going to Durban, the town, to do Harinam. It was roaring with kirtan, prasadam distribution. So those were the golden olden days. Haribol, Hare Krishna. So devotees continue. When I was going on Padayatra, there was very interesting things on Padayatra. We had this Prabhupada lifelike Murti of Prabhupada on the chariot. So when we were walking in the rural areas, you can see, especially Bengal, Orissa, they were more like that. They will run from far from the farms. We are going to rural areas, coming, running. And when they come closer, they will think that one person, one great Swami is sitting. And they will be standing there staring and waiting that the Swami will give them blessings. And after a few minutes, they will understand that it is a murti. Then they will start to laugh and laugh. It was very interesting. Everywhere is used to happen when Prabhupada's presence. Yeah. And when we are going with our bullock cart, with Prabhupada on the bullock cart, to every town and village. So this is also, it started to boom in India after the Western countries, through bus sankirtan that was going all around India, and also through Padayatra that was going all over India. So Columbus, Ohio, May 9, 1969. The devotees had arranged for Prabhupada and Ellen Ginsberg to chant on stage at Ohio State University. So this is what Prabhupada also instructed to his disciples and inspired them to preach in universities, and Srila Prabhupada also went to many universities. Yeah. Because this is where you get also, we preach everywhere, no problem. But university you get very well educated and learned students, young students. When they took to Krishna consciousness, a lot of them, they really took it very seriously. Because as Bhagavad Gita says, 4 kinds of people who surrender to Krishna. One is out of distress, one is out of curiosity, one is a wealth seeker, which is very, very common. Even sometimes one devotee become a devotee, he stays many years, but still he's still seeking for happiness in wealth. Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So the most dear to Krishna is the Jnani, those who have come with a proper understanding, who had read the books of Srila Prabhupada and who had joined the movement. So this is what why Srila Prabhupada emphasized a lot that we go to the universities. And when I was here in 87, in 88, for these years, they were giving lectures and classes in all these universities, and I was a simple devotee from Mauritius. I used to go with the very learned devotees like Srihari Prabhu, and several devotees used to go to university, Westville University and Technicon, and I used to go with them. I really used to also learn a lot, because university preaching brings a lot of good devotees as well. So Alan had been a friend of the Krishna consciousness movement from his first days of the Lower East Side. Shortly after Prabhupada's arrival in Columbus, he stopped by Prabhupada's house and discussed philosophy with Prabhupada for several hours. Alan was friendly with Prabhupada as always, but he doubted whether Krishna consciousness could become popular in America. The need, he said, is for a large, single, unifying religious movement in America. So here is Krishna, Prabhupada replied, all attractive. Now you can say, why shall I accept Krishna? But since you ask for a unifying element, then I say, here is Krishna. Now you can analyze, why should you accept Krishna? And I shall reply, why you shall not? Whatever you want or expect from the Supreme or Unifying, everything is there in Krishna. This is the beauty of Prabhupada. Some of the learned scholars in Sanskrit, and they criticize Prabhupada. But Prabhupada hasn't done anything wrong. He has brought up from all the Sanskrit shlokas of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and he has explained the Sanskrit verses and concluded every chapter that Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have to surrender to Krishna. Till the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Braja, Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo, Mokshayishami Masuchaha. Because some of the scholars challenge that the Bhagavad Gita is stressing, and different yogas also. Yes, yoga, but the topmost yoga is Bhakti Yoga. All the yogas culminate in Bhakti Yoga. So now we continue. If Prabhupada wanted his movement popularized, Alan suggested he should consider omitting many of the sectarian Hindu aspects, such as the dress, the food, and the Sanskrit. Wow, that's very interesting. But Prabhupada didn't budge. He didn't compromise with anything. He didn't change his attire. He went around in his sannyas dress, and he encouraged his disciples to put dhoti, kurta and saris, or Punjabis, or gopi dresses. He encouraged them to go in traditional Vaishnava attire. And he said, that is a way to do, and not take out Sanskrit. He transliteration was given of all the Sanskrit words, and properly, genuinely, because Sanskrit can be interpreted in many ways. So Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada replied, was not a sectarian or Hindu. Lord Chaitanya had said that a person could chant any name of God, but one must chant. As for the food, Prabhupada explained that any food was acceptable as long as it is purely vegetarian. And dress, there was no stricture that Americans wear robes and shave their heads. The Hare Krishna mantra, Prabhupada added, was a natural sound not foreign. Allen objected. The Hare Krishna mantra sounded foreign. Perhaps they should think of an alternative, one more American mantra. This is going on, Prabhupada replied. Some people are inclined to one thing and some to others, and it will go on until the end of creation. But one position is that we are searching after the center. And here is a center. So Prabhupada, he was very firm and very strong that this Hare Krishna Mahamantra was a solution for this age of Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. A bit louder. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Prabhupada chanted like a lion, rigorously. One of the senior devotees, very good devotee, one day I was sitting and chanting, he said to me, softly chanting. But you know, in the morning, if you're softly chanting, there can be danger. You can fall asleep. That's why if you go in India, these temples like Mayapur, Bombay, ISKCON, Delhi, everywhere, they're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhupada was chanting very strongly and very, very purely, devotionally, and very powerfully. It has to be uttered very powerfully in the morning. You know, in Delhi temple, when I was doing service there, part of the management, so under Gopal Krishna Maharaj, so for several years, so Maharaj asked us to check if devotees are chanting properly. So one day, one of the senior devotees, he was leaning on the pillar in the middle of the temple, and we could see he was not chanting. Then I was chanting, so by mistake but if you go in Radhana's temple or anywhere in India, they chant very strongly and powerfully before they start the day. Otherwise, it will not be good. So, we carry on. So this is going on, Prabhupada replied, some people are inclined to one thing and others, like a Hindu society, everyone comes with his own understanding from different organizations, and they have their own philosophy, they like to talk and bring out what they learn from their organization, their spiritual guides, and it becomes like a hodgepodge. So, and it will go on until the end of creation, but our position is that we are searching after the center, and here is a center. So at Ohio State's Hitchcock Hall, 1,000 students occupied the seats, and 1,000 more crowded the easels and stage. The program began with kirtan led by Allen Ginsberg. Allen then introduced Prabhupada, and Prabhupada lectured. When Prabhupada began the second and final kirtan of the evening, the students responded wildly. Those seated stood and danced, some jumping in the seats, and those in the aisles and on the stage also join in. Amid the thunderous kirtan of nearly 2,000 voices, Prabhupada began to dance, jumping up and down, and the speaker's dais, his hands raised high. He threw flowers from his garlands, and the students scrambled for them. The wildly ecstatic kirtan continued for almost an hour, and then Prabhupada brought it to a close. Afterward, hundreds of students crowded close around Prabhupada, asking him questions. Many students continued to chant. They left the hall, and some left crying from the new sensations of spiritual happiness. The next day, the ecstatic night of chanting at Hitchcock Hall was a talk of the campus. Prabhupada was pleased with the evening, and he described the event in the letter to devotees in Los Angeles. So this kirtan is such a powerful namna makari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smarane nakala. All the shakti is invested in this holy name of the Lord. So it's very powerful. Even me, when I was in high school in Mauritius, one day one organization came to give us mantra for meditation, and they were charging some fees. Of course, I didn't go because those days we didn't carry much money with us. But it was some good thing was there. Students were gathering, and they were trying to do this meditation, transcendental meditation. Some good thing was there, but it was not like you didn't have so much potency and shakti to like boost you up and take you out from all these material influences, the bad habits that students have in school sometimes who try to help themselves, all this. But when the kirtan came, it was different. Kirtan was very, very powerful energy to purify us in our existence. So yesterday at the Ohio State University, we had a tremendous meeting, and nearly 2,000 students were chanting, clapping, and chanting along with us. So it is clear that the student community was a nice potential for accepting this philosophy. I mean, this kind of chanting, you can do it easily when you go on township areas with Food for Life. You can see the people, they take to chanting very easily, they can relate to the chanting, and they chant and dance easily. Whereas in cities, it is not easy to make people dance and chant and freely. But here in South Africa, it works sometimes in cities, but in the township areas, it works perfectly. So, New Vrindavan, May 21, 1969. Accompanied by Kirtananda Swami and Hayagriva, Prabhupada then travelled from Columbus to the New Vrindavan Farm project in the hills of West Virginia. When the car got stuck in a neighbor's garden near the entrance of the property, Prabhupada decided to walk the final 2 miles along the muddy access road that led to the farm. The road soon ended, however, and Prabhupada and his 2 guides picked up a footpath entering the dense forest. The mid-May trees were still coming into foliage, and the sunlight broke through the branches to a carpet of brilliant purple phlox. Prabhupada walked quickly ahead of Kirtananda Swami. Although he was 70 plus, he walked faster than Kirtananda Swami and Hayagriva, who hurried to keep up. Amazing how strong he was, Srila Prabhupada. How he was like a warrior, a powerful warrior. Yeah, that's why this ISKCON society is growing and spreading still all over the world, and we are getting devotees because history has spoken. Whenever there was dharma sankat, whenever there is irreligiosity growing and asuric bhava spreading, then either the Lord come himself or he send his pratinidhis, his ambassadors. So every time there is such a difficulty, there's a huge need, then great acharyas came. Like in the Lord Chaitanya came more than 500 years ago. Lord himself, then the 6 Goswamis who came, Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj. Then we have from other sampradayas like very powerful Acharya came, Shankaracharya, who preached the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta. Then Ramanujacharyas came, who had huge influence, who established Vishishta Advaita. And he churned the whole society, uplifted them, and put them in the proper worship of Lord Vishnu and Krishna also. Then came Madhvacharya, who was very strong physically and very learned. He was disciple. He got all his knowledge from Vyasadeva personally. He took initiation from Lord Vyasadeva. Then comes Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, he was short. His body was not big. But he has big disciples, Bapre Bap, like Brahmananda Swami, like tall and big. And he made them dancing elephants and make them beautiful swan-like devotees. This is what the Prabhupada's miracle, what he did on this planet. So these Swamis couldn't catch up with him. He was walking so fast. A winding creek repeatedly crossed the path, and Prabhupada would cross the stepping from stone to stone. The road, and he said, would not be difficult to travel by ox cart. The forest was like a jungle, just as he had expected and wanted. For the past year, Prabhupada had corresponded with Kirtananda Swami and Hayagriva concerning New Vrindavan, and his correspondence had established the direction for Krishna-conscious country living. Prabhupada has said he wanted the community based on Vedic ideals, everyone living simple, keeping cows and working in the land. The devotees would have it to develop these ideas gradually. It would take time, but even in the beginning, the keynote should be simple living and high thinking, because a community would remain completely aloof from the city. It would at first appear inconvenient and austere, but life would be peaceful, free from the anxieties of the artificial urban society based on hard work and sense gratification. So Prabhupada, he also he emphasized a lot devotees to have a farm community. In the history of South African ISKCON, it all started from a farm. Even me, when I was reading Back to Godhead in the late 70s, I was very attracted to this simple living and high thinking, and in a community where devotees trying to become, help each other to become very Krishna conscious. So here also in South Africa, devotees started from a farm, Catteridge. Then we had a farm in Johannesburg called Muldersdrift. I stayed there for 2 months. Yes, so a beautiful farm. So even personally, I got very inspired with this farm community. And in 1983, when I was about to join full time, I was given the choice to join in a city temple, where we had our big temple in Katrabon. The temple was big, very opulent, the abode of Radha Golokananda at that time. It was called White House. When I was coming there on Sunday programs, I was trying to check if there's no spies there, American spies, because the building was called White House. So I was, and it was run by devotees from America. So I was thinking, but I chose to be on the farm where we had very austere life. It was a beautiful farm. It is still the farm. It was called ISKCON Vedic Farm, started by very, very sincere and very dedicated devotees of disciples of Prabhupada, Sriniketan Das Prabhu and Arjuna Prabhu. So I chose to be there. We had small rooms to live. We were 5-6 of us, young brahmacharis. But it was so nice and soothing and very good. We had a team spirit, and we had a wonderful devotee who was also managing the ashram, all the activities of the farming of cows. Mahadev Das Prabhu, very nice devotee, one of the best devotee of Mauritius Island. So he was very, very caring and very compassionate. So we used to go and cut grass because we couldn't graze our cows. We didn't have much land. It was only 5-6 acres land. We used to take turn to milk the cows and take turn to clean the Gaushala. And the fragrance of the cow dung, which in the Western country they say, bullshit. Sorry, is bad. But cow dung is very, very soothing and very nice when you're cleaning the Gaushala. It helps you. It cures a lot of health issues also. Cow urine and cow dung. Today, our devotees in India, everywhere, and even here, they're making a lot of products with cow dung. So Prabhupada was very, very enthused, he was walking like a young boy, and the disciples couldn't follow him, making their way to this new Vrindavan, which became one of the most beautiful projects in our ISKCON society. And yes, so Prabhupada spoke little, making his way along the path as if as his own home. They stopped beside a creek and Prabhupada sat down on a blanket. Kirtananda Swami and Hayagriva spread for him on the grass. We are stopping for Kirtananda. Prabhupada said he is tired. Prabhupada and his party drank water from the creek, rested briefly and then continued. As they rounded a curve in the road, Prabhupada could see a clearing on the ridge ahead. Keto Ridge. Yeah, we had a farm, Keto Ridge. A small frame house and a barn stood at the lower end of the ridge. These two ancient structures, Hayagriva explained, were the only buildings on New Vrindavan's 120 acres. As no vehicles travel here, the paths were overrun with high grass. A willow spread its branches close to the old house. The settlement was a picture of undisturbed primitive life. Prabhupada liked the simple life at New Vrindavan, and whatever simple thing the devotees offered him, he accepted with satisfaction. They served him freshly ground wheat, cereal cooked in milk, and he said it was wonderful. When he saw the kitchen's dirt floor covered with cow dung, he approved, saying it was just like in an Indian village. So they brought this mood of Vrindavan Dham there in New Vrindavan. And if you go in the YouTube, you can find how this golden palace was built there with so much love and devotion. And devotees who never had any knowledge of many skills of carving, of bricklaying, of all this work that was done, but they learn it through the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, and they build this golden palace. And today there are many devotees serving the deities there and doing a lot of activities. Yes. So this is what Prabhupada, he emphasized a lot. Like when we had this farm on our Mauritius, we still have it. In those days, Arjuna Prabhu, he was personally working. He was also Prabhupada disciple, big size. One time he was a bodyguard of Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan for some time. So he was the architect of this whole Krishna Balaram temple. But when we joined, he was our leader on the farm. He was staying there with us. And Prabhu Shaitan he was a householder, Grihastha, so he was staying in a flat 2 kilometers away. So Prabhu Arjun used to dig himself and fix and work himself beside being the architect. And we used to get very inspired to have one very big size and powerful Arjuna Das Prabhu with us and working with us. So we were taught to do many things on the farm. That was our training as a brahmachari, young brahmachari on the farm. So, and slowly, Prabhu Arjuna, he built a gas plant, a concrete structure around with a big cap, and we started to make our own gas on the farm, gobar gas. So we used to take turn, the young devotees. We used to mix the cow dung with water. It used to go through a pipe in a big cup. When the sun hit the cap, metal cap, cover, then it raises slowly, means the gas is forming. We had a pipe connected to the kitchen, and here we go. We had our gas right on the farm. And the residue that is coming out after the gas is very rich in nitrogen. So we had canals goes to our garden, our farm, ways to feed the plants, the vegetable with this slurry. So many things was being done on that farm, and it is still going on. Now they have beautiful temple of Krishna Balaram, and in the middle of beautiful gardens, vegetables, fruit trees and flowers, and it's Vrindavan in Mauritius. So we have New Vrindavan in America, we have Vrindavan in Mauritius also. So Prabhupada, he was sitting in Vrindavan before going to the west, and the tree is called Krishna Balaram tree, on the parikrama when you start parikrama. And he wanted to introduce Vrindavan all over the world, and he brought Vrindavan everywhere. Hari Bol! Srila Prabhupada ki! Srila Prabhupada lilamrta ki! Nitai Gaur Premanande. Any comments? Any comment? Anything I didn't say right, you can correct me. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.